Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how you doing? Grab your coffee, maybe a snack, and let's get on with it, okay? So, what we're going to be talking about today is food storage and myths that have been debunked. I know that a lot of you have asked me in the past, how do I store this? How do I store that? Okay, well, there are some things that we're going to talk about today that maybe you had questions about, okay, and I'm going to answer some of those questions, okay? Now, I am in no means an expert, but this is like trial and error. This is research that I have done, things like that, okay? Now, when it comes to preparing for natural disasters and other emergencies, food storage is near the top of every single list. And knowing that you can feed your family if the grid goes down or if the roads are unpassable, you can't get to the store, can help relieve some of the stress and the worry. However, many myths make the rounds when it comes to emergency food storage. Not being able to separate fact from fiction when it comes to what you store, how you store it, and how long you can store it mean the difference between being prepared and going hungry. All right. So the first myth was you can store food anywhere. Nay, nay. You may have seen photos or pictures on different websites, let's just say, of emergency food stacked under the bed, on a window ledge, in a bathroom. However, some locations offer far less than ideal conditions for keeping food safe and ready to eat. The primary enemies of food are heat, light, and moisture. That means your best bet are locations that are cool, dark, and dry. Now here's a few tips. Aim to keep your food off the floor, where it is more likely to attract pests and absorb moisture. Go. Avoid moist or humid locations like over the stove or under your sink. Light can actually degrade your food and its packaging. Keep food away from windows. Now the second one is canned food is all you need. Canned food usually has a long shelf life. However, even cans can erode when not stored properly. Also, most canned foods will not supply all the nutritional value that you need, okay? When it comes to canned food, make sure you rotate it on a first in, first out basis. And consider stocking up on basic ingredients, beans, corn, meats, okay, that you can use to make different meals rather than canned meals like Chef Boyardee or the beef stew stuff. What is it called? Dante Moore, something like that. That your family will get tired of eating. So that tickles. Go. Now, the third myth is when people are hungry enough, they'll eat anything. Nay, nay. Just ask Jason over at The Angry Prepper. He said no matter how hungry he gets, he'll never eat Spam. And neither will I. I'd rather eat grass. A crisis is not the time when your family will want to experiment with new foods or foods they already don't like. And chances are excellent that they're not going to eat it anyway. Instead, stock up on versatile ingredients that you can combine in different ways to make meals that your family likes, right? Yeah. I'm not going to make you eat dog food, am I? No, no, no. Don't touch that. No. Can you hear that? Is it? Oh, I'm such a love bug. Now, the fourth myth is once you have X amount of food, you'll be good to go. No, no. Many emergency preparedness sites recommend having a 3-day supply of food and water for each person in your family. That's a good starting point, but what happens after those 3 days? Or wait a minute, didn't FEMA up it to 2 weeks? I don't remember. So work on storing as much food as possible in appropriate space and consider ways to supplement your supply with gardening, raising livestock, fishing, hunting, and gathering. Now, the fifth one is beans last forever. Beans have a justly deserved reputation as a backbone item of an emergency food pantry. We all have them in our pantries, right? However, even beans have their limits. The good news is that you can revive dried beans in a pressure cooker. Do you have a pressure cooker? I do. I love my Instapot. I use it all the time. Or place the beans in 3 cups of water, add a teaspoon of baking soda, and simmer on the stove for about 3 hours. Okay? Now, the next one is all you need is freeze-dried food. I can't afford all that freeze-dried food. Can you? Now, freeze-dried foods, they are a great option for your emergency pantry. But you don't want them as your only option. For one thing, they require water to prepare. What if water is scarce? You won't want to sacrifice your precious drinking water to prepare your food. Also, some freeze-dried foods are highly processed and contain a hefty list of preservatives. So, while I like to buy Augason farms and stuff like that, I have bought powdered honey, dehydrated onion, dehydrated bell pepper, and the black bean burger mix. Yeah. Those are the only 3 things that I've bought from them. So, the next one is wheat should be a mainstay in your food supply. Well, sure. But think about it. Will you have the other ingredients and the ability to bake bread during a disaster? Maybe not. So, the next one is nuts have an extended shelf life. Did you know that the oils in most nuts can go rancid when exposed to heat? Try placing them in the fridge or the freezer for a long-term storage. That's what I do. So I have all of my nuts. I have them in the gallon size Ziplocs, and I have the open bags in the fridge, and the bags that I have not opened yet in the freezers. Okay. Now the next one is plastic water bottles will fulfill your water needs. Yeah. Water itself doesn't go bad, but the containers that water is stored in can be a huge problem. When plastic bottles begin to degrade, their chemicals can leach into the water. And these chemicals can actually damage your respiratory and digestive systems and harm your belly. Yeah. So think about that, okay? Now, the next one is if you run out of food, you can just go hunting. Whether or not you can supplement your family's food supply with hunting varies widely depending on where you live and how widespread the crisis is. Remember that others will be just as needy as you are, maybe even more so. So, and plus, if you've never been hunting before, you might not really know how to do it. I myself have never once been hunting. So if the occasion arose that I would have to go hunting, I would not know the first thing about it. Yeah. So on to the next one. You cannot eat foods that are past their expiration dates. How many times have we had this conversation? Those that are confused by the sell by, best by, use by dates on food packaging are contributing to tons of food waste every single year. Now, the fact is that many foods remain edible for about a year or more past their expiration date. The dates indicate peak freshness, but not when a food is unsafe to eat. So, unless you're dealing with something that is perishable, okay? But non-perishables, you're fine. Here's an example. Cariana. She wanted to make brownies for the first day of school for her and Dominic to take in for a snack. So that morning she made brownies. The brownie mix I bought had expired in 2020. Guess what? Those brownies tasted wonderful. It's fine, really. Okay. So the next one is emergency food storage is all about storing things in bulk. Stockpiling certain foods in bulk quantities can save you money. We've all learned that lesson. But it can also create headaches. But going big may not work for everything and for everyone. Your goal should be a layered approach of storing a variety of shelf-stable nutritional food that your family likes to eat. Now, varying the sizes of your sealed containers and packages can help you keep your food fresher longer. So, the next one is if you have a big freezer and a generator, you only need to buy frozen food. Oh, nay. Yeah. First of all, okay, the power could go out, all right? And even if you have a gas power generator, I have a gas power generator, okay? You can run out of fuel, all right? Now, myself, I'm going to be honest with you. I've got 40 gallons of gas stored. That will run out if we have a huge hurricane come through here and knock our power out like it did during Irma for 2 weeks. That 40 gallons is not going to last me 2 weeks. So, your best bet is to have a supply of both frozen and shelf stable. Now the next one is your emergency pantry is only for life and death emergencies. This is my favorite one, only because My pantry, I have the do not touch. I do. I have the do not touch. We have the working prepper pantry. We have this pantry, that pantry. That is the do not touch, you know? But, you know, in all honesty, it's not true. Okay. Now, storing food is not a one and done deal. Okay. We know this. You need to keep track of what's in there and rotate out items to maintain freshness. Okay. And that's why we all have to have a very good inventory system. I use Prepper Nerd's offline inventory system. It is thebomb.com. I love his inventory system. Okay. So, you know, there is no shame, okay, in using some of your stored items, you know, when your cash flow is down, or, you know, someone in your family is sick, you can't go to the store, you know, just keep track of your supply and replenish the items when you can, all right? Now, these are some of the things that I've shared with you, that I have debunked, that I have researched, that I have experienced myself. What are some of yours? Please leave them in the comment section. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I love you. I'll see you in the next one. You stay safe, you stay positive, you keep prepping. And as always, fear less. Ciao.